Hola, buenas tardes. Happy Monday, feliz lunes. Welcome to En Casa con La Plaza. My name is Abelardo de la Peña Jr. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications here at La Plaza de Cultura y Artes. These are our virtual sessions, bringing you the best of Latino history, art, culture, y comida. On Mondays, of course, it's En Casa con La Plaza Cocina, where we bring you chefs, restaurateurs, cookbook authors, and mucho más. But before we begin with that, thank you very much to our sponsors for today, CVS Health and Aetna, Union Pacific Foundation. Also, funding has been provided by the California Humanities and the National Endowment for the Humanities as part of the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. Also supported by the Institute of Museum and Library Services, advancing, supporting, and empowering America's museums, libraries, and related organizations. As you know, La Plaza has been open now since June. Unfortunately, we're closed today, but we will reopen on Wednesday from 12 to 5 every weekday, except for Tuesday from 12 to 5, on weekends from 10 to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. All our exhibitions are open. Carlos Amaraz, Alex Starts Here, Patriotism and Conflict, our newest exhibition. Actually, our newest exhibition is a newly installed painting by Frank Romero called Going to the 1984 Olympics. If you've ever passed by on the 10 freeway, well, for a while you could see it. Now, unfortunately, you can't. You'll see a gigantic mural by Frank Romero called Going to the 1984 Olympics. Calle Principal, one of our permanent exhibitions, is also open, newly decorated with holiday decorations. We invite you to come check it out. We'll have music and also these containers where you could share a spark of joy. We've partnered with ABC7 and the firefighters in providing and asking you to donate unwrapped toys, gifts to children in need by bringing them over to La Plaza de Cultura y Artes, Calle Principal, and dropping them in the container called Sparks of Joy. All right, with that, of course, please remember we are requiring proof of vaccination or exemption for those 12 and over, and please mask up while you're here. With that, let's bring on the host of En Casa con La Plaza Cocina, our Monday series, Jimena Martin.
Good afternoon. Hi, everybody. I'm so excited for today because it's perfect. It's cozy weather. And we have Miss Wendy Centeno from Guayaba Kitchen, who's making delicious churros. I tried making churros over the pandemic. So I have lots of questions for you, Wendy. Wendy, how are you?
I am doing really well. How are y'all doing?
Good, good, good. So tell us about the churros today. Oh, first, tell us more about Guayaba Kitchen, how that all came up to be.
Yeah, of course. So my name is Wendy Centeno. I am the chef and owner of Guayaba Kitchen, and we are a vegan, plant-based kitchen here in the San Fernando Valley. I was born and raised in Pacoima, and I come from a long line of cooks. My mom is an amazing cook, all my tias, my grandmother. So I was raised in the kitchen, and I was raised eating everything. Desde chiquita, you know, I've always loved to eat. I was never picky. I was always helping out my mom in la cocina. You know, as we grew older, a lot of health issues associated with food really focused my career into really creating recipes that are more plant-based. You know, there's tons of research out there that a plant-based diet really does help to reverse a lot of the you know, chronic diseases that you know are plaguing our community. You know, diabetes, cancer, high blood pressure, all that stuff. So I don't advocate you know, no coman carne, you know, eat what you're gonna eat, but let's balance it out, right? And that's what Guayaba Kitchen wants to do is take a lot of our recipes, our traditional recipes, and really like load them up with veggies, you know, make them plant-based. I myself am not vegan, but I'm what I call vegan adjacent. Most of the foods that I eat are plant-based, just because I don't want to deal with the hassle of cross-contamination and chicken this and all that stuff. So I don't really eat too much meat. And I really like to experiment in the kitchen and really bring those original flavors to a plant-based diet. So you know, we make anything from like this weekend, we made a vegan menudo. And I like to say it's señora approved again, because my mom is an amazing cook. She worked in the food industry for over 20 years. So she's my biggest critic. So if she likes it, then I'm like, okay, then y'all are gonna like it too. So we made menudo this weekend with handmade tortillas. We make pozole, we make tamales, a lot of stuff, a lot of recetas that are particular to the region of Mexico that I'm from. I'm from Colima. So we make sopitos, we make tostadas and all that stuff. So I really like to just experiment and make them plant-based. And people are like, wow, no, I can't believe que no tiene carne, you know? So I like to mess around with that kind of stuff. And today we're gonna make churros. And sin querer queriendo, churros are vegan, y'all. At least the recipe that we create. Some of the recipes do require egg. We don't add egg to ours. We don't need it. And this is a really cool recipe, like Jimena was saying, to make ahorita con el frillito. You know, you can accompany them with like some cinnamon tea, té de canela, or some like coffee or chocolate caliente, whatever you want. So we're gonna make some churros today, and it's a pretty basic recipe. This is one of the favorite recipes that my students like to create, my younger students, because they think it's like a whole process, and it's really not. The only like fancy thing that you're gonna need is a piping bag and a piping tip. But if you don't have a piping bag or a piping tip, you can still make it happen. The only reason that you would need this tip is to have that like traditional shape, like that star shape that it has. But if you don't mind them being just like smooth, then you can just use like a Ziploc bag or any kind of plastic bag. You don't need to buy one of these. But these cost like $1, like at any craft store, Michael's or what have you. So les recomiendo que compren uno, and then you can just keep them forever. This little guy right here. So yeah, we're gonna make some churros, y'all. So let me go over really quick the equipment that we're gonna need. I have my cast iron skillet back here already preheating with about 2 inches of oil. So that means this is the bottom of my pan. There's about 2 inches, 1.5 inches. So that first line of your finger is about 1 inch. So I fill it up to here. So we're not like, it's not like super too much oil. And I put a heat resistant oil. I don't like to fry in like olive oil because it can burn and then your food's gonna be very bitter. So in my pan, I have some handy dandy avocado oil that I just buy in bulk from Costco. And actually, when I buy my stuff in bulk and I don't go to Costco, I go out to LA. I'm in the Valley, but there's a store, no me acuerdo the cross street, but it's like Alameda and quien sabe que. I'll have to get the address for you, but it's like an Asian wholesale market where everything is like almost $10 cheaper. So I go out there and I buy my my jackfruit out there. I buy my oil. I buy seasonings out there. I'll get that info to you, Jimena, if you want to share it. But it's
Absolutely.
yeah, for all of y'all that are out there in LA, you know, as you have noticed, all of the prices for everything are like skyrocketing, right?
Yeah.
So me as a chef, I really have to shop around and really get the best deal. So we go out there. Mike, do you remember the name of that cross street for the store we go to on Alameda?
Oh, no.
We don't remember. I don't know, but I'll get it to you. And you can buy the avocado oil there way cheaper than what it costs at Costco. It's like
Does the avocado oil, is it a neutral taste? I mean, I haven't worked with avocado oil, so I'm asking.
It is.
So does it have?
It is, and that's why I like to use it, because it doesn't have a strong flavor like if you were going to use like olive oil. You know, olive oil, it's very floury and you can taste it, and then it'll burn if you try to heat it up too high. But avocado oil, similar to grapeseed oil, no tiene mucho sabor. It's kind of really flat. So I would recommend it. But if you're looking for a less expensive alternative and still good quality oil, I would recommend some grapeseed oil. Just make sure that it's pure grapeseed, because right now You know, a lot of it's mixed with canola oil, and we don't want to mess too much with canola oil because it's highly processed and it's really not good for us. I mean, any kind of oil is not good, but if we're going to be consuming oil, we want to have like a nice quality oil. So either aguacate or grapeseed, those are my go-to. And I like to reserve the ¿cómo se llama? Olive oil for like anything raw, like if I'm gonna make sauces or if I'm gonna top my pasta with it or something like that. Yeah, so I'll get that info for you so you can go out there and buy it out there because it's so expensive right now at Costco. So I've got my, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say, can you show your recipe? Because like I said, I was trying to make churros during the pandemic, and as I look at my recipe, it says egg. I have an egg in mine. How do you do yours?
This one does not have egg. And I have messed around with recipes that have egg, and I feel like como que saben mucho a huevo. It's too eggy. So so this one's really basic. I'll let me see if I can cut and paste it and put it in the chat. And this is like a foolproof. Can't go wrong with this one. We've made it so many times in class before. And the kids are always like, wow, that was easy. Let me see.
Because the recipe I have here, it's really a million cookbooks that I have. It's from Morelia, and they have egg in it. But then the difference is they do with lime at the end. Yeah. So I mean, I was curious to see if anybody else had that. I had
like,
churros with lime.
Lime, like the fruit or
yeah, jugo de limón, jugo de lima. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, and we're gonna do a little twist at the end too, because you know usually we coat them with a little bit of sugar, a little bit of cinnamon, which is the traditional way to do it. But we're also going to be doing it a different way, where we're going to be grating a little bit of chocolate Ibarra on top to make it like a little chocolatey. You can do like, I've seen people make pink ones with like Nestle Quick, or not put, my son doesn't like them, he just likes some plains, he doesn't like no sugar or anything on them. So it's really up to however you want to do it. But if you look on the chat, that's the list of the ingredients that we're going to be using. And there is no egg in it. I prefer without the egg, not because I'm trying to make it vegan, but I just feel like it's too, like the egg kind of overpowers the flavor of it. And it tastes a little too custardy. So I find that this recipe is really good. So let's get started, y'all. I have my little ollita here, and I'm gonna add a cup of water to it. Okay. And like I said, I already have my oil back there preheating because I want it to get pretty hot because we're gonna be frying. So aquí tengo mi agua, and then we're gonna do 2.5 tablespoons of white sugar. But I like to use just like this cane sugar. It's just what I have at home, but you can use whatever. You can even use, I've used this recipe with monk fruit. So like if you're trying to watch your sugar intake, or if you're, you know, diabetic or what have you, or on keto, you can use monk fruit sweetener, and it's really, really good too. So that's 2.5 tablespoons of sugar. We're gonna do 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I know it sounds like a lot of salt, but you need to have a little like something to counter that sweetness. So I'm just gonna add 1/2 teaspoon here of kosher salt. Right in here. El agua, the water is cold. All right, we're gonna put this over the heat right now, but it's cold right now. And then we're gonna do 2 tablespoons of your oil of choice. I've got my aguacate oil right here. Okay. And then I'll just give this a stir really quick just to kind of incorporate everything. And this is gonna go directly onto the fire. And if you notice, I have a toalla under here because I'm gonna bring this olla back to the counter once it comes to a boil. So I just mixed it up a little bit just to kind of incorporate all that. Back here, a todo lo que da. And we're just gonna let it come to a boil really quick.
Yeah, I was looking at the recipe. They were saying is that they put the lime juice in the oil.
Really?
Yeah.
And so you tried that recipe?
Yes, it was a while back ago, and it gave a little, a little lemony thing, but I'm always used to putting in my churros into a big, thick thing of chocolate. And so the lime juice is,
It kind
it
of
was,
threw you off.
yeah, it kind of threw me off. It was interesting. Again, during pandemic time was all about, test driving lots of things because we had so much time, and I've always wanted to make churros. And in fact, I did it with just the plastic bag, but I went all out and I got myself the real deal. And it was, again, it's like $1 thing.
There you go.
Yeah.
And
So
I like
now-
those bags because you can wash them and reuse them again, right?
Mhm.
This one is pretty thick. I think I've used it like maybe 3 times already.
Yeah, I've got some of them too. I got
There
the
you go.
plastic ones. And then when I went and ordered the Star Tip, I got some of these guys too as well. So now with the holidays, I see some churros in my life. Even better now that there's with no egg. So I'm looking
And I
forward to it.
can see that lemon recipe working really well. Like if you maybe don't put the cinnamon, but do coat it in sugar, and maybe make like a glaze with like powdered sugar with a little bit of lemon zest and glaze.
Like a key lime kind of thingy.
Yeah, I think that would be really good. Yeah, that's a good one. So you said that recipe's from where?
This one here is a collection of recipes from all over Mexico. And they said the wedges of fresh lime is added to the oil while it heats up to give a subtle zest to the flavor of the churros.
That's interesting. Okay, I like that. I like the idea of the citrus kind of cutting the richness, because this is a really rich dessert. It's pretty heavy. So I could see that lime just like brightening it up.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. I'm gonna try that. Okay, pues aquí tengo just my all-purpose flour, nothing fancy. I haven't tried this with any other kind of flour, like whole wheat or
almond.
But I imagine it'll work. It's all about experimenting, you know what I mean? Like my mom dice, echando a perder se aprende, letting things like kind of just experimenting with, and even if it goes bad, that's how you learn.
Yeah, they're saying it's not so much the recipe, it's a technique as well. Learning those techniques.
Yeah. And this is, like I said, this recipe is foolproof. We've made it tons of times in class with my younger students, and they love it. My water's already boiling. I've got my 1 cup over here. Let me bring it back over here. Ya le voy a apagar. I'm bringing it back to my station here.
Before you start, I have Chloe Medina says, my mouth is watering. Ujale. So they're ready. Me too.
Wait till we get these all fried up and ready to go. And we're all gonna be drooling. Okay. So now I'm gonna add my flour, and I'm just gonna mix and mix and mix and mix, and you're gonna see how this is all gonna come together into like a paste. See that? Look how easy that is. And that's it, y'all. This is it. And you do want to work with a spatula or like a wooden spoon. It just makes it easier. But look at that. And what you're looking for is to really just obviously, incorporate everything really well. But you want to make sure that you get most of those like lumps out that like to just chill in the middle. But look at that. It's a really thick paste. That's what we want. And then one problem that I do encounter when we do these is our bag will sometimes rip because it's so thick. So like you're saying, Jimena, it's all about technique. We can't like press down too hard when we're squeezing it out because we'll rip our bag. And that's why I like those bags that Jimena showed us, because they're pretty indestructible. They're very heavy duty, and they won't rip as easy as like the single-use ones. And where did you get those, Jimena? You just ordered them online?
I did online. I went online and did a search for the tip, and then Sunset was like a set.
Yeah.
So de unas, let's get the set.
Yeah, might as well. Yeah, and the tip that we use is a star tip. That shape that's on here to give it that traditional churro vibe. But again, if you don't have it, don't be discouraged. Just you'll just make them without the ridges. It's okay. They're still gonna taste good. Ahí está, mira, look how beautiful that is. See how it's like thick? It's kind of like we're making fufu over here too. Y'all heard of fufu? It's like trending on TikTok right now.
Fufu from Africa, isn't it a
Yep,
pound of either plantains or
Cassava
juca?
flour.
Yeah, juca, yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of the same process. Pero ahí está. Mira qué belleza. This is perfect. I'm telling y'all. And I haven't made these in a while either because I feel like this is like a holiday thing. So like apenas I'm dusting off my holiday recipes. Next week I'll be at Tia Chucha's for the Hearts and Hands Mercado, and we're gonna be decorating sugar cookies. I work with a group of students right now. We're called the Social Warrior Chef Program. And so we're training right now how to make our sugar cookies and how to decorate them and all that. So if you're interested in learning that and starting that tradition in your family to decorate some galletitas, join us next week at Tia Chucha's, and it's actually going to be led by the students. I'm just going to be in the background, but they're going to be leading the workshop.
Wendy, Maggie Bustamante is asking, you mentioned about the students that you teach. Is it in school or they're at home with you?
We teach, we're doing hybrid right now. So most of it is on Zoom, but we do meet in person at a commercial kitchen here in the Valley, and take our classes there as well.
And then we got Eva Gabriela Nadir says, hi, Wendy, thank you for sharing this. And then Chloe Medina has a question.
Yeah.
Just sorry, did you boil the mixture or just wait just before the boiling point?
We boiled the water. So remember, to the water, we added our salt, we added our sugar and our oil, and I let that come to a rolling boil. So a lot of bolitas coming out. Then I removed it from the heat and brought it back to the counter here, and then added the flour and then just mixed it up. And if you can see, the mixture is really nice and smooth.
It's silky.
Yeah, it's silky. There's no like lumps in it. And there's no need to heat this over the stove. You don't want it to be too hot because we're gonna put it in our bag and we don't want to burn ourselves, right? But yeah, I hope that answers your question. And you kind of have to move fast too, because you want that water to be pretty hot when you add your flour. And you see why I'm saying to work with the spatula, because you really want to get in there when you can't really do that with a cuchara, right? And you want to mix this up until you get all those little bolitas out, and until it doesn't stick to like your pan here. And then you have like one piece of masa right there. Yeah, everybody with me so far? Le voy a subir a mi aceite because I had it on really low. When we started, I just had it on really low so we can gradually kind of warm up. And I'm not fancy, like I don't have a thermometer. And a lot of us don't either. We don't have a thermometer at home. So like, I'm not gonna tell you, let it come to whatever. You're gonna know it's hot when we can take a piece and then drop it in here, and there's nothing happening. So it's not hot enough yet. So I'm gonna turn it up just a little bit. And so I have a spider. You don't need a spider. You can also use a spoon and a fork. So I always feel like people get intimidated, because they don't have the tools, or they don't have the ingredient or whatever. Just mess around with what you have at home, and if you feel that you need to go and purchase the fancy one, then you can do that. But primero, let's work with what we got, and then we can kind of figure out what we feel more comfortable with, and then get it right. My favorite place to go, honestly, if I'm looking to buy like new tools, is I'll go to the thrift store. And you can find so many cool stuff at the thrift store, especially if you're looking to buy like cast irons, because people think that like, oh, they got rusty, ya no sirven, I'm just gonna donate them. But no, you can always bring a cast iron back to life. And I like anything that I'm gonna be frying. I like to use a cast iron because it heats up evenly, and it really helps to cook whatever you're frying, it really makes it nice and crispy. So get you a cast iron. So go to the thrift store, try to find one, and find one. All you gotta do is just like clean it up really nice with some oil, you know, scrub it with some salt, get it cured with some oil, and you should be good to go.
Yeah, it's really there. I'm sorry, just real quick. Also, when you talk about thrift shops, is also those Dutch ovens.
Yes,
Because they're really expensive when you go to the store, and then you go to the thrift store, you'd be amazed. People don't know what to do with them. They got another one, and they put them back. You just saved yourself $300, and they're amazing to cook with.
Yep. I just bought one not too long ago. You know, I like to do a lot of camping, so I bought one not too long ago, and I took it camping, and it was I baked a ham, y'all. I baked a ham. We did Friendsgiving out in Big Sur up north, and everybody was supposed to bring something, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make these dudes a ham. And I took my Dutch oven, and you know, we cooked it over the coals for 2 hours. Y salió perfecto. So I'm just getting into like cast iron stuff, you know, so I'm really excited.
Yeah, they're great. And once you season them, I mean, they're great. The best nonstick.
Oh yeah.
Just a matter of taking the time, no soap, just, you know, salt, and with a scrubby, get it down a little water, and then they have to be super dry. You can't have, the reason why they get rust is because people leave water on them. It's not a regular pot. So you got to put it back on the stove, let it dry completely, cool off, and then you get that oil, and then it seals them, and you just put it away, and the best nonstick.
And you can cook anything.
Real quick, PJ Tobia says, can the mixture be prepared in advance or must be used immediately?
It should be used warm, just because once this cools down, it's not going to be as pliable, and it's going to be pretty impossible to get out of your bag. What you could do, if you make it in advance, you can just heat it up a little bit, then put it in your bag, because you want it to be pliable. Yeah. So otherwise it's going to be a hot mess. So I'm just going to take this whole thing. And usually what I do when I'm filling my piping bag is I like to put it in a cup, you know, because usually it's like liquidy stuff, but this is not liquidy. So we're just gonna take some of this. Get my oil, my little piece de leche that I put in there. It's dead, y'all. It's burning. I've got my my plato back there lined with some napkins. I have another like deeper plato here where I'm gonna put my sugar mixture. So we got like a little assembly going on. Okay, see what we got here? Okay, let me move this out the way because I can't see y'all. All right, here we go. So this is where the bad can occur. If you're pushing too hard, then it'll burst. Like it'll start coming out from the side. So you don't want to do that, okay? And you know, I work with teenagers and they get impatient and it's like, you know, todo chorreado to the side. But if it happens, it's okay. So you see, we're pressing gently, and you see that shape. That's what that star tip is giving us. It's giving us that shape. And then it helps if you have a little knife, a little something. Because what we're going to do is we're going to drop them in the oil and then we're going to cut them. So I'm going to move y'all over here. My poor computer, I don't even know how it's still working because like put it all over the aceite all the time. A ver, let me bring you back on. Okay, can we see that? All right, so my oil is smoking, so it's too hot. I'm gonna turn it down. It's all about, you know, cooking is all about like really messing around with the temperature and you know, turning it up, turning it down, dependiendo de how it is, right? So here we go. You can make little tiny ones. I like to make little tiny ones for my son, or you can make the traditional long ones. See how I'm using my knife? And this star tip is actually pretty thick, so they're gonna be pretty big. So you see, I'm just using my knife to kind of cut them. So you can do these little bite-sized ones, little nuggies.
Wendy, that's such a great recipe and it's so easy. If I had like a flavorless oil, like you mentioned, like the avocado oil or the grapeseed oil, I would definitely be making that for dessert today. It's just so easy.
Yeah. What kind of oil you have at home right now?
Olive oil.
Oh, yeah. No, get you some grapeseed or avocado, and you're good to go. See that, y'all? And see, I'm just using a fork. I'm not even gonna dirty my big old spider. I'm just gonna use a fork right here. Y aquí tengo mi plato with some napkins on it, just to kind of drain some of that oil. And you're gonna notice that like maybe the first couple of ones that te van a quemar, you know, they might burn. But that's just you trying to figure out the temperature of the oil. Okay. Look how beautiful that is. You can make them, my students would make like shapes, you know, like letters or whatever. They would get creative with it. This one's kind of thick, so I can't do like a round one. But you could if you get a thinner one. I think the one that you have, Jimena, is a little thinner.
I think too, it's the consistency of your dough. I remember when I made mine, it was not that doughy.
Uh-huh. It was a little more loose.
It was a more looser. It was more
Okay.
looser. And I could quick question.
Yeah.
Have you ever filled the churros? Like for a while, that was such the rage where people were filling up with cajeta, filling up with jam, filling up with chocolate.
Yeah, you could totally do that. And the way you would do it at home without any fancy equipment is, see, this one's tan quemaditos, is you could do it with a straw. You could poke the hole with the straw, or you can get a ¿cómo se llama? A piping tip that is like that you can just poke a hole in it and then just squeeze the stuff inside. But I don't have one of those, so I would normally just take one of these longer ones and use a straw. And then you can fill it with whatever you want, you know, cajeta or what have you. Jam is good.
Mm-hmm.
Some people do peanut butter and jelly. I'm telling you, it's all about what you like, you know? And that's the thing also with the cast iron that we got to remember. It gets really hot. Okay, it's not like your average. I want to make sure I'm not burning my computer over here. It's not like your average, ¿cómo se llama? Cazuela. You know, this gets really hot.
And the handle gets hot.
Yeah, y'all got to be careful with the handle. Don't grab it. So then you said yours was a little more loose. So when you piping it out, ¿qué pasó? Were they spreading open or were they keeping their shape?
They were kind of, it was just kind of a little messier. Again, it was like the first time doing it. But I really like your technique and your recipe because it's a lot more firm. You have a more control as you squeeze it out of the bag.
Yeah. And I think the egg really brings in a lot of moisture too. So that se hacen más, you know, more watery. But this is just simple, y'all. You see, it's not watery at all. It's not dripping. It's just doing its thing. It's kind of like the consistency of Play-Doh. It's pretty thick, which means they have to cook for a little longer. And we constantly have to move them porque si no, mira, se queman. So that they cook all the way through because they are thicker. And this is basically like the same kind of recipe for a donut. Donuts are not very different from churros. They're just different shape. Any other questions out there?
I think we're just waiting for the final bite.
For the crunch. Yeah, and I like to serve these. I know, Jimena, you said you like to dip them in chocolate. I just like to make a little hot chocolate on the side. Y así me los como, to dip them like that. my mother-in-law, she was born and raised in East LA, so she swears by like the churros out there in Boyle Heights, you know. So every time she goes out there, she brings us little bolsitas from like the mercado out there. And she likes to dip them in chocolate también. And this is a really cool thing to make. You know, we make churros for Christmas instead of leaving cookies out for Santa. You know, I have a 7-year-old son. So we make, Santa Claus gets churros at our house. And he seems to like them. My son's actually going to be 8 on Friday. So
Oh, happy birthday, Mama.
yeah, thank you. There we go. So again, it's all about messing around with the heat over here. Esto es como que ya se pasó. Mira, se quemó un poquito. Well done, y'all. And you see, I'm just using a fork. Nothing fancy. But you could grab a spider. Nomás que este spider está muy grandota. What's for dinner tonight, Jimena?
I'm looking at making like a cauliflower, like a Asian inspired, like an orange chicken.
Ooh.
But instead of using chicken, I'm going to get the cauliflower, break it up, broil it, like kind of like dip it in almond milk in a little panko, bake it, then make the orange sauce on the side and then toss it.
Oh, that sounds good.
So we'll see. It's all a test drive tonight. If not, there's always beans and soup in the freezer. So we'll see.
You can't go wrong with frijoles. Yeah, I've got a cauliflower in my fridge. Like every time I open the fridge, it's like, what are you gonna do with me? But I like to add my cauliflower in like in soup. So I think I'm gonna make some kind of caldito because it's cold, you know. Se antoja algo like albóndigas or something like that. Beautiful. And you see, there's not too much oil. It's not like even covering the top. You don't have to drown them. And I'm just spooning a little bit on top.
So Wendy, I know you mentioned about the achuchas, but also you mentioned that we talked earlier before we got together here on live about tamales. Tamale season's coming up.
Yes, it's here. Tamale season is here. And I've been, you know, the end of the year is always really busy for us because, you know, people are always looking to buy tamales. So we've been making tamales nonstop at the commercial kitchen out there in Van Nuys. And we make vegan tamales. But this year I was able to also get a batch of hatch chilies roasted in Nuevo Mexico. Our friend just moved out there, so he sent me a 50-pound sack of hatch chilies. So I'm gonna be making some hatch chili tamales too. With the, you know, we prepare our vegan masa, you know, the traditional way with nixtamal and all that. But you know, I was mentioning to Jimena that we use a plant-based butter and oil instead of manteca. To kind of flavor them up. Y salen bien buenos. If y'all get a chance to check them out, you know, we'll have those for sale if you want to try something different, something a little lighter for your system. Not that I have anything against like manteca or anything like that, because there's also been studies that it's not as bad as we think it is. You know what I mean? But still, I'd like to use that alternative and use those plant-based oils and butters to experiment with our tamales. Y salen buenos. I'm not to toot my own horn, y'all, but you know, it's using my mom's recipe, but using new techniques. Really good stuff. And then we also make to accompany them, we make a ¿cómo se llama? Atole de guayaba to go with our tamales. Good stuff.
You know, I just had a girlfriend of mine, a coworker, her mom makes tamales from scratch, and then she put some savory ones and some sweet ones. I never had one. It was a guayaba tamale.
Oh, yes. I want to try making some of those. I've been kind of messing around with some y no me han salido bien. But how were they?
They were super delicious because I guess she pureed it with the masa,
Yeah.
and they were really, really delicious. They
Oh,
were really
yummy.
super yummy. Never had anything like that before.
Yeah. That's cool.
I have a couple questions. Roberto Garcia is, how do you know when the churros are cooked all the way through?
So you don't want to burn them like I did this one. You're gonna know because you can actually feel it. If they're not ready, they're still really soft. And if they're ready, then they're a little harder.
They're
So
crunchy.
you'll know. Yeah, they're a little crunchier.
And then PJ Tovia says, wait, where can I buy these vegan tamales? So let us know how to get a hold of you to buy those tamales with the hatch chilies that were imported all the way from New Mexico.
If you follow me, you know, I'm most active on Instagram, on social media. If you follow me on Instagram at Guayaba Kitchen, we post there when our tamales are going to go on sale. And they sell out pretty quick. Last week, we put them out and we sold out like in 10 minutes. So there's a huge need, you know, and that's another thing why I'm inspired to keep doing what I'm doing is because there's a huge need in our community. You know, a lot of people are looking for alternatives. A lot of people have approached me and say, you know, my dad, he's diabetic. I have a client that every time I you know, post that I'm going to be selling, she's like, I want to buy whatever you have. You know what I mean? Because her dad is like, he's sick. And his diet is very restricted. He can't eat a lot of meats. He can't eat a lot of saturated fats. He can't eat a lot of like iodized salt. So I like to use like pure ingredients. And so, you know, it's a huge need. So follow me on Instagram. And if you want to try what we got going on, you definitely can give it a try at Guayaba Kitchen. Okay, so my churros are back there. They're kind of cooling down. Se me quemaron unos. Estoy nerviosa, yo creo. I don't know what's going on. But we're going to salvage the ones que no se quemaron. And even though they're burnt, they're still going to taste good. So we've got our little bowl here that's a little deeper. Le vamos a echar tantita azúcar. And this is just cane sugar. Okay, you can use white sugar. You can use whatever you got at home. We've got a little bit of ground cinnamon. So that was about half a cup that I added. I like it a little heavier on the cinnamony side. So that's about a teaspoon. Y así mismo with your fingers, y'all. We're going to get in here. And you don't want your churros to cool down completely. You want them to be still a little warm. Here, we'll do, because the sugar will stick to them. Okay.
Oh, Wendy, they look so yummy.
You hear that? They're crunchy. Good stuff right there. We can also do some with some of this chocolate. If you can either mix it all in here, which I like to do to give it a little, and I just have a little microplane here, just to give it a little chocolatey flavor, or you can just do it just by itself with a little bit of chocolate. This is just Ibarra. Nice and chocolatey. Look at that.
Great. That looks great in the light. That's really good.
Yeah. Here we go. I haven't even had dinner, y'all. I'm having dessert before we have dinner. But I'm a mom. I could do that. That's the...
Absolutely. Before you go away, can you be so kind to hold the plate? And that way we can have you on our Instagram and this gorgeous photo of you and your churros.
I'm gonna get some more on here. Está muy triste el plato. Echarle más. Yeah, if anybody has any questions about this recipe or any other, events that we have going on, please reach out on Instagram. There's also an option to send me an email. I'll get back to y'all.
Wendy, as always, a pleasure. I love your directness, to the point. Again, thank you so much. I hope people reach out to you and get those your vegan options, your tamales, all the other beautiful things, and also much success. Your continued work with the achuchas and everything you do for the community, which is really amazing and beautiful. But with that said, I pass it to my compañeros. You guys can take the photograph. But again, happy holidays, and again, thank you so much, Wendy, for sharing.
Okay, always a pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, let's, okay, Wendy, I'm here. Let's say churros on 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much. We have one question here that escaped us. Ana Vasquez is asking, the recipe that you shared, how many does it yield approximately?
Well, okay, so it depends on the size of your piping tips. Can you show us yours again, Jimena, so we can kind of compare the sizes?
Yeah, I think I got the, hang on, let me find it here. It is 8 to 8, so it's a good size. Put this in there. It's a good size.
Yeah, so it depends on the size. This one's está más gordita, so I'm able to maybe get like 6 of them. So you can always double the recipe, but I think with yeah, we might have the same size, Jimena, actually.
Yeah, as this doesn't give it there, you can see how
Yeah.
big it all is, and with your hand, it's a good size. It's a good. So you get a big churro.
Yeah, big ones. But if you get a piping tip that's a little small, then you can make them más delgaditos, which I would recommend if this is going to be your first time making them. Get a piping tip that's a bit smaller. That way it's not they won't be as thick, and it'll be easier for them to cook. But with this piping tip, I don't know what size it is. I can't see the number. I could probably get like 6 large ones with that recipe. But you can always multiply it and make as many as you want.
And then you made the little nuggets, so those are little bite size. You can make a whole bunch of those.
Yep. Yeah, just the little tiny ones, just like that, little baby ones.
All right. All right. Well, we have Roberto Garcia joined us on Facebook. He said, this was so much fun. I was supposed to be on my way home, but could not tear myself away. Thank you very much.
Very sweet. Thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in to us.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody that tuned in today. Wendy, of course, always a pleasure having you on. This is so much fun, and we learned so much. And Jimena, thank you for guiding us through this whole process. Those of you who came in a little bit late, we want to see the entire session. We are recording it. We'll be posting it on our YouTube page at La Plaza LA. It lives on our Facebook page at La Plaza LA, and also on our website, lapca.org. Thanks again to our sponsors, Aetna, CVS, Health, Union Pacific Foundation, National Endowment for the Humanities, California Humanities, and also the Institute of Museum and Library, or something like that. You remember. Anyway, hopefully they're not watching. So thank you so much again for joining us. Catch us next Monday, the last Cocina for the year.
Because we go on holiday, Alvarado. We need to rest, spend time with our families, make tamales, make those delicious churros, make all those things. So we'll be gone for a couple weeks.
That's right. But next week we'll be making chocolate avocado pudding with our good friend Maite Gomez Rejon from Art Bites.
Ooh.
All right. And in between, we have an En Casa con la Plaza coming up. Oh, you're fired. Oh, no. Here, I'll remember, John. I'm sorry. Singing in Spanglish this Friday with the Spanglish. It's a duo from Mexico City. This is our first En Casa International. We've done cocinas internationally and also regionally, national, from all over. But this is the first time I'm hosting one from Mexico City. So I'm looking forward to that. December 10th at 7 o'clock. And then next Friday, Dan Guerrero returns with his final happy hour for the year with Sandra Valls, Maria Russell, and Diana Yanez, who will be talking about their Latina Christmas special, which is at Noise Within in Pasadena. Go to our Facebook page and you can get tickets to go see this fabulous Christmas special. So with that, I'd like to thank you all for joining us. Catch all of La Cocinas that we've done so far. I'm posting it right here on the Zoom. So we've done what, 40 something, Jimena? Maybe up to 50? We've been busy.
I think so. We've been, yes.
All right, well, here goes. Maria Here, Maria Carrillo says you got here late, but glad that I can watch it later. Well, we're glad you could watch it later as well. And if I could come to this, okay, here it is. The Institute of Museum and Library Services, advancing, supporting, and empowering America's museums, libraries, and related organizations, including La Plaza de Cultura y Artes. Thank you so much, IMLS. And with that, nos vemos. Hasta la próxima. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.